7 movies in Cannes, including the beautiful Carol, and she was unforgettable in so many more. Madame la Présidente, Cate Blanchett. And now, at the extreme left over there, she was born in Burundi, but her music, her music is all over the world. Please welcome, for the first time at the festival, Khadja. He had 8 movies at the festival, and one of them is probably one of the best ever selected in Cannes. That was in 1997, a Wong Kar-wai movie, Happy Together. Please welcome Chen. She had 5 movies at Cannes, 2 directed by Olivier Assayas, 1 by Woody Allen, and 1 by Walter Salles, and 1 directed by herself. Please welcome Kristen Stewart. He won the Prix Un Certain Regard in '97 for Marius and Jeannette. He came back 6 times in Cannes, and he told me yesterday that because of this prize, he made 13 more movies. Monsieur Robert Guédiguian. He had 4 films in Cannes, including 1 in competition, Sicario. It was in 2015, Monsieur Denis Villeneuve. It's her first time in Cannes, but her movies Selma and 13th and recently A Wrinkle in Time are still in our head. Madame Ava DuVernay. I think I'm not wrong when I say that last year he shocked each and every one of us by one shot of a kid in a bathroom. Monsieur Andrey Zvyagintsev. She had 7 movies in Cannes. She won in 2009 the Prix Chopard of the first female newcomer, and of course in 2013 the Palme d'Or with La Vie d'Adèle. Blue is the warmest color. Mademoiselle Léa Seydoux. So, mesdames et messieurs, I'm going to start with asking a question for every one of you. Madame Blanchett, if you don't mind starting to answer. The question is very simple and kind of complicated too. What is a good Palme d'Or?
What is a good Palme d'Or? Well, I mean, there's many, many different awards in this extraordinary cornucopia of a festival. I think it's going to be a film. The Palme d'Or, by its very definition, is an award that's given to a film that contains everything. So you're awarding the performances, the direction, the cinematography, the script, the extraordinary crew that have made the film possible. The whole entire mise en scène. So it's something that I think will also hopefully last within not only the jury's mind and imagination, but the imagination of an audience beyond the time of the festival.
Khadja?
Will carry the day.
Question dans la salle?
Are there any questions in the room?
Hello, Jason Gorber from Canada. Congratulations to you all. Such an incredible, diverse set of voices speaking the international language of cinema. I'm wondering, Ms. Blanchett, if you could talk about the challenge of ensuring that films here will be championed from this diverse group, that we can ensure that we are going to get a Palme d'Or that best reflects everyone's point of view. And I'm just wondering if you could talk about specifically the challenges of championing film while still recognizing that other films may equally be worthy, making sure that you get the one that you love, but also the one that you feel will be lasting.
Well, as a creative person, you have to accept that the task is impossible. And but without having had a single conversation about any of the films yet, because we haven't seen them, we will disappoint and confound. But the fascinating and wonderful thing about Cannes is that you have a set of people, practitioners, artists, in the jury, then you have the critics' response, and then you have the punters, you have the audience. And each of those groups of people might find something different. So even though the Palme d'Or might go to something and the critics might think differently, that's wonderful. And the great thing about this platform that is Cannes, this cultural, international sort of melting pot, is that every single film is worthwhile seeing. I mean, Terry and the team see over 1,600 different films. I mean, I can't even imagine absorbing that many films within a 12-month period, but they do. And often I think what happens is that the filmmakers who are chosen are guilty as charged. So, it's wonderful as an artist to go in an open-hearted way to try and attend to what the filmmakers are saying. And often from afar, if I haven't been at the festival that year, I'm not just interested in the film that has won a prize, but it might often be the one that I've heard about through word of mouth. So there's many, many ways in which these films can... it's a very porous festival. And so I think that, of course, there's the pointy end with the awards. But, as an artist myself, I'm not that actually focused on awards. I'm much more process-driven. And what drew me to... it's sort of like, well, why did I become the president of the jury if I'm not interested in awards? But in the end, it's being in dialogue, not only with these extraordinary artists who are in the jury, but also being in dialogue with the diverse array of artists who are represented in competition and outside.
Over there. Please stand up.
It's Rodrigo Fonseca from Brazil, TV Globo. It's a question for Mrs. Cate Blanchett and for whoever else wants to answer. We have a bunch of great new directors coming, but we have a mythical figure, Jean-Luc Godard. What's the challenge of judging a man like Godard, an artist like Godard?
Well, yes. Well, it's a level playing field, isn't it? So if you remove everybody's names, it's very, very hard when someone has been so profoundly influential on international cinema not to bring their body of work into your experience of what they're, the films they're making. And he continues to experiment. And so who knows what this particular experiment, will be. And I'm sure his body of work will withstand with or without a Palme d'Or. But, it's very hard to sit in judgment of another artist. And so that is going to be the most challenging and painful moment for all of us. I can't honestly respond to that because I'm going into this process with as I think we all are, with a genuinely open mind. And so we're trying to remove names and pasts and just deal with the present.
Anyone else about Godard? Over there, please. Please stand up.
Hello, Robin Pomeroy from Reuters. Am I right in thinking this is the first time in Cannes history that this is a female majority jury?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, does anyone else want to take this question? It was one of the first questions I said to Terry. I said, we really do have to have gender parity and racial diversity on the I don't choose the jury, but on the jury. And he said, but we do. And he said, in Terry's time, there have always been, if there's a female head of jury, then there are 4 men and 4 women. So it just happens that I've tipped the balance. Sorry.
Could you say how, though the Me Too movement, all the things that have happened since last October, has that changed the film industry and has that changed in some way Cannes this year?
Anyone?
If I may,
Gentlemen?
No, but it's a wave. It's a movement that I'm always depressed by how we judge time like economists, like a 3-month period, trimestral way of judging time. The Me Too movement is something that, to my humble point of view, is a larger movement that it will take a long time to raise, d'atteindre l'égalité. Je vais aller en français, pourquoi je parle en anglais? Ça va prendre un temps.
It's going to take time before we achieve equality, but it will happen. This movement will reflect what happens in Cannes this year, next year, and no doubt in the future as well.
And further to that, I think that for quality change to occur, for profound, lasting change to occur, it needs to take place through specific actions, not through generalizations and not through pontification. It's addressing the gender gap, and it's addressing the racial diversity and the equality and the way we make the work. And of course, that's going on in our industry, and I hope in many industries, because the creative industries are no different from any other industry. country, around the world in terms of those problems that they face. But, is it going to have a direct impact upon the films in competition this year, 6-9 months on? Not specifically. There are several women in competition, but they're not there because of their gender. They're there because of the quality of their work, and we'll be assessing them as filmmakers, as we should be.
Madame, on the third row.
Sabine Schulz from German television. So Theo Frimo said not only that the festival would change after the Weinstein scandal, he also said that the women's role at the festival must be reconsidered. So this is a festival with a red carpet, and we see pretty women, and we have a pretty old-fashioned picture of women from all those pictures. Question for Cate Blanchett. Cate Blanchett, how do you see the impact on all this, on women's position at the festival?
Being attractive doesn't preclude being intelligent. I think that this is, by its very nature, a glamorous, fantastic, spectacular festival, full of joie de vivre, full of great good humor, full of discord and disharmony. Making art, making work is not always going to be harmonious. And we're not always going to be in concord and agreement. The world would be terribly boring if it was. But, I think that those aspects of the festival are things to be enjoyed, but in an equal, fair, and equitable way.
Right over there.
Good afternoon. Eugene Hernandez from Lincoln Center in New York, writing for Film Comment. A more general question and maybe to anyone on the panel, but maybe specifically to some of the filmmakers. There's so much talk at the start of this festival about the state of cinema. So I wonder who might comment on this question of why are movies still important? Why do movies matter today?
So actresses, don't answer that because you have no idea how to answer that question.
Go for it.
No.
I talked already. But I think that, unfortunately, humanity repeats its own mistakes, and storytellers, since the beginning of time, are there to try to reflect on what's happening. And I think that's why we repeat all the time the same stories, and we will explore cinema as the most powerful tool to tell stories. It's more relevant than ever, specifically at a time where in media, truth is in a kind of danger. I think that cinema has a role to play to bring truth in the screen. I mean, it's like something that is fundamental, and I think that cinema is more important than ever. Does it make sense what I said?
Yeah, I mean, you hold up a mirror in front of everyone. It's so important to consistently self-assess and also explore and also be shown things that you're not currently living with, things that are not even remotely in your realm. So it's like two sides of a really beautiful coin. It's like always have introspection and self-reflection, and additionally open your eyes to things that are nothing like yourself, and like that's the only way to grow. And I think movies have always been, I mean, it's obviously like my favorite form of that. Yeah.
I feel that cinema is voice, and it's the way that from where I'm from, Compton, California, was able to understand, the humanity of a family in Iran or in Shanghai. There was nothing outside of my window to orient me to my place in the world. It was film that did that. It was film that allows me to assert my voice in the world. So it's so important that these festivals, and that's why I feel Cannes is so important. It brings us together from all parts of the world, wherever we are, to a gathering place to assert our voice and to actually speak to each other through cinema. So it's so important that we are inclusive, I feel, of the different ways in which we participate in film. So whether that's in a theater or not, it's still film. And I think that this is a question that the industry, artists and executives alike are grappling with right now, is what is a film? But film is a story told by a filmmaker, and the way in which that film is presented to the audience, I don't think has bearing on whether or not it is a film. But I look forward to having those debates with my fellow jury members, probably like the one sitting next to me, and others. I think it's just such a time of great flexibility in terms of the ways in which film is presented, and so it really is deserving of flexibility of our thought and our assessment of what is film.
Question over there.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Laura Sanchez from W Radio Colombia. My question is for Ms. Blanchett. As a here.
Where's here?
Oh, sorry.
Hi.
As a passionate feminist and also this year president of the jury, what do you think about the fact that there is only 3 female directors in competition? There's so few females in order to win the Palme d'Or. Thank you.
Well, a few years ago, there were only 2. And I know the selection committee now has more women on board than in previous years, which will obviously change the lens through which the films are chosen. But these things are not going to happen, overnight. And it is, as we said, it's a very exposing, almost a gladiatorial sport coming to Cannes as a director. And you want to know that the filmmaker is ready to have their work displayed. Would I like to see more women in competition? Absolutely. Well, do I expect and hope that that's going to happen in the future? I hope so. But we're dealing with what we have this year, and our role is to, in this next, almost 2 weeks, is to deal with what is in front of it. And as I said before, I'm not looking at the films. We're not looking at the films as an Iranian filmmaker or a Chilean or a Korean or a female or a transgender. We don't have any transgender directors this year. Oh my God, we failed already. But it's, do you know what I mean? Like we're dealing with what we have in front of us. And, our job as industry members away from the festival is to keep working towards positive change. But, we're dealing with the films that we have in competition right now.
We have a question right here.
Hi, my name is Catherine. I come from Montreal, Canada. The festival has announced a red carpet 100% female on Saturday. I would like to know if the 5 of you, the 5 female, which part of the jury will be present on this red carpet.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much.
Je pourrais ajouter quelque chose.
Could I add something?
Le 16.
On the
Parce qu'on
16th,
parle de
because
des problèmes que les femmes
we've been
rencontrent.
talking about
dans tous
the
les
problems
univers, mais là, nous
encountered
parlons
by
du
women
cinéma.
in many areas, but here we're
Le
dealing
harcèlement,
specifically with the
cette
cinema,
histoire, je vais pas la répéter.
harassment,
C'est triste,
etc.
je vais pas la répéter.
I don't want to repeat all these things, which are so very
Je voudrais
sad.
signaler qu'il y a
I would like to point out,
femmes
however, that there
actrices
are
noires
women
françaises
actresses,
qui ont écrit un
black
livre
French
manifeste
actresses who
pour témoigner de
wrote
ce
a book, a manifesto,
c'est-à-dire
setting
le
out what they
racisme dans le
experience,
cinéma.
racism in the cinema.
C'est-à-dire qu'on leur
In
dit
other
ce
words,
rôle d'avocate
they
n'est
are
pas pour
told,
toi.
this part,
Intelligente,
a lawyer,
noire.
isn't for
Dommage
you.
que tu sois pas blanche.
You're intelligent. It's a pity you're not white. They hear all sorts of horrible things. Just read the book. And I'd like to say that they will be here on the 16th as well, walking the carpet. The red carpet has opened up so that they can express themselves as well.
De la stigmatisation
In
et
addition
du
to
harcèlement,
stigmatization
racisme.
and harassment, there's racism to boot.
Encore moins de rôles,
Hence,
ou
they
alors
have
des
even
rôles de
fewer
maman quand elles sont
parts,
âgées,
or they
des
play the
rôles de
part of an aged
des rôles qu'on
mum,
octroie aux Noirs en
or
général.
the kind of
Et je
parts
pense
that are
que c'est
given to black
important. Et c'est
people
vrai
in
que le
general.
chemin est long,
It's important. It's
mais
a
c'est
long
en parlant
path
comme ça et
to
en
change
espérant
things.
qu'on relayerait ces
But we hope
informations.
that you will convey all
Les
this
choses
information. Things must and will change.
Saturday, 100 women on the red carpet, and the 16th, the writers of Noir n'est pas un métier, c'est ça?
Le 16, elles sont 16. Elles sont
Yes,
16
there are
actrices
16. There are
françaises qui
16
viendront,
French
parler
actresses
de
who
leur
will
histoire,
talk
de leur
about
vie, de ce qu'elles
their
vivent dans ce
story, their
cinéma.
experiences,
Et
their
voilà,
life in the
d'ailleurs,
cinema.
le titre est très beau.
And the title is very
Elles
beautiful.
disent,
They say,
comment c'est encore le titre? C'est
what's
Noir
the
n'est pas un
title
métier.
exactly?
Noir n'est pas mon métier. C'est le titre.
Black is not my job. That's the
Et ça,
title
c'est
of the book.
extraordinaire
And it's
et
quite
évidemment,
extraordinary,
nous serons là pour
of
les
course,
soutenir.
and we'll be
We have
there
time
to
for one more
support them.
question. Mademoiselle.
Thank you. I'm a journalist from Georgia, and first of all, I want to say very many thanks about your project manifesto. It's one of the best projects I've ever seen in my life, and thanks. a lot. About my question, we have a lot of movies about east part of our world, from Egypt, from Lebanon by Nadia Labaki, from about Kurdistan also, to see real situation there, yes? And also we have the movie by the Russian director who was under, under home arrest under Russian regime. And my question is about, would you take into consideration these political backgrounds of these movies when you will start judge and discuss about movies, or only artistic and visual line will be more important to judge? Thanks a lot.
I think this is not, it's not a political film festival, and I think the making of the work is probably not inherently political, but the way that it's going to be digested and disseminated post the festival may well have political implications for people and open their eyes and minds and hearts to situations that are going on around the world. It's sort of what Eva was saying about forming bridges of empathy between family situations or love relationships or trials and tribulations of people that you can relate to, even if you live in Compton or you grew up in East Ivanhoe in Australia, as I did. But it's, as I said, it's not. This is not the Nobel Peace Prize. It is the Palme d'Or. So it's a slightly different function. But yes, it's a terrible situation that the two of the filmmakers will more than likely not be here with us to have when their films are being screened. It's a very, very terrible situation.
Madame la Présidente, Mesdames et Messieurs, members of the jury, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.